Hey everyone, this is Mike, and today we are back in Destiny 2 for one last time before the end of the season to give you my closing thoughts on Season of the Chosen before we head into Season of the Splicer next week. I'm very excited for a new season, mostly because of how good our current one has been. Was it perfect? Not really, but there have been some nice additions to the game that with a little bit of fine-tuning could become great additions. So today I'm going to break down all of the different aspects of the season, from the story to the seasonal content, and give you my thoughts on them. Let's start off with the story. I've always been a fan of the story in Destiny 2, but there has always been one complaint for me personally. It's not put in the player's face enough. A lot of the story of Destiny is hidden behind lore cards that you first need to unlock, and then you need to go and read through them. Luckily enough, there are YouTubers out there who make great lore related videos, so if you don't want to go and read through everything, then you can just watch those videos instead. My Name is Bife is the channel that I personally follow for that. But I feel like this season has done a very good job of having more of the story presented towards the player, from a weekly mission that we give you new dialogue, maybe a cutscene or an interaction that takes place in the Helm, which is sort of like the new hub that was introduced this season. And then if you want more, there are still the extra bits that you can uncover by finding the lore books, but the more important parts of the story were nicely presented to us. Let's move over to the gameplay related stuff, our seasonal activities. We have the Battlegrounds missions and Presage, our exotic missions. I don't really feel all that strongly about Battlegrounds. They weren't amazing, but they also weren't bad. You go in, kill a lot of enemies, move to a new area, repeat, and then you fight a boss at the end. There weren't really any mechanics to speak of, so it was mainly just run and gun. The good thing about them though is that the enemy density was very high. The player in Destiny 2 is pretty powerful, so having not enough enemies to shoot can make things a bit boring at times, because your teammates would have just already killed everything before you got to do anything, so having high enemy density makes things still enjoyable enough. The way how you went about getting the weapons and the armor of the season was also done well enough. You do your standard playlist activities, which gives you a currency, which you can then use to power up your hammer. You go into the Battlegrounds, you clear your run, and then you smash a chest at the end with your hammer to get your loot. I think the only complaint that I can have here is that unlocking all of the aspects of the hammer felt like it took quite some time, and our returning Umbral Engram system was also way worse than the one that we had in Season of Arrival. So I feel like they could have done with a slightly faster hammer upgrade system, and then also maybe go back to a system that was closer to the Umbral Engram system of Season of Arrivals, because the system back then was pretty amazing. As for Presage, or exotic mission, this one I am a very big fan of, and it gets me very excited when I think of our next season, as we're most likely going to get another one. We got our first exotic mission like this in Season of the Hunt to get Hawkmoon, or to get a random rolled Hawkmoon I should say, but if I were to compare both of these missions, then I would say that I enjoy Presage more. But that could just be because of where the mission takes place, and that we got new dialogue during the mission for a few weeks in a row as well, so again, adding to that story that is put more in the face of the player. Outside of the random rolled Dead Man's Tale that could be obtained by running this mission once a week, you could also get a pinnacle reward, so it would help you gear up, and then you could also uncover more lore, as every week we were able to open up a new hidden compartment on the ship. Again, my only complaint here is that you would not be able to open this compartment on your first run for that week, and you would also only get one Dead Man's Tale drop per week. So either make it so that you can drop more than one exotic per week by, for example, running the mission on another character, or make it so that we could open this secret compartment on our first run, because doing the mission and then running it a second time just for the sake of opening this compartment for the sake of the triumph and nothing else felt kind of bad, especially when the later compartments were towards the end of the mission. But outside of that, I really enjoyed it. There were also two difficulties, an easy and a hard mode, and hard mode would only need to be completed to unlock the catalyst of the exotic, and then you could also go for a solo flawless completion that would earn you an emblem. But if you were just there for your weekly exotic, for your weekly pinnacle loot, then you could just do the mission on easy mode, which definitely wasn't too hard to solo. So when my friends already had their good rolled guns, or when they weren't around to run the mission with me, I could just go in by myself and not really have that much of a harder time than if I were to play with a group. So I'm hoping that our next mission has these two difficulties as well. And then last but not least are seasonal challenges. These were a good addition to the game, but with a few tweaks they could have been truly amazing. So these challenges are great for a few reasons. They give you something new to do every time a new week begins. They would give you a good chunk of season pass experience, thus helping you level your artifact and also unlock the stuff on your season pass faster, and they would also give you a good amount of Bright Dust. These challenges basically serve as a replacement for our old weekly bounty system, so you don't need to play 3 characters every week in order to get similar rewards. The only thing that leaves a bit of a sour taste is that a lot of these missions aren't retroactive, and that some are time gated as well behind certain weekly activities. And if you want to get this big Bright Dust payout at the end of the season, you need to complete almost all of the missions. Now, my problem here is the following. When the new season comes out, people are excited to play. They do all of the playlist activities to gear up towards a new power cap, and then when the season starts to slow down after, let's say, the first 2 months, some will take a break until the next season. Now the problem here is that these missions come out on a weekly basis, and let's say you played a lot at the beginning of the season, then all of a sudden getting a mission to get 5 Gambit rank ups is not going to be fun, because it didn't work retroactively, and because you already played a lot of Gambit at the start of the season, you're now needing to get the later rank ups, which take a lot more time investment than getting through the first few ranks. So now you're forced to invest a lot of time into Gambit again to get this mission done. Also, taking a week off from the game can be punishing, as some missions can only be done during certain weeks, or you need to do something a whole lot harder to complete them later. For me personally, I took a week off during our last Iron Banner week, which of course there was a quest that came out to play Iron Banner that week, so I wasn't able to complete it because there wouldn't be any more Iron Banners coming out that season. I also wasn't around when our new strike was on the Nightfall playlist, so if I wanted to complete that mission, I would most likely have to run the Grandmaster version of that Nightfall instead, which is many times more difficult than running it as a normal Nightfall. So these types of missions I'm not a very big fan of. For Iron Banner and the Gambit mission, these would have been alright if they worked retroactively, and the Nightfall mission would still be good if, let's say, during the last week or 2 of the season, you are allowed to select which Nightfall that you want to play, like how they allow you to do that for the Grandmaster Nightfalls. So all in all, this season has been a success for me. Seasonal content was good, weapons and armor that we got were good as well, and it makes me very excited for our new season. The Umbral Engram system could use a bit of a change so that it's closer to what we had in Season of Arrivals, and our seasonal challenges could also do with making everything work retroactively, or at least making challenges that aren't time gated so that players can take a break without the fear of missing out on being able to complete that final reward at the end. Let me know what you thought of our current season. Did you enjoy it? What did you enjoy the most? Is there anything that you didn't like about it? And how would you maybe change something over there? Let me know down below. And on that note, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank my Patreons for their support. And I'll see you in the next one.